Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme precept. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah, Mahim Saraswatyai Namah, Shri Guruve Namah. We commence profound scripture of Yoga Vashishta. I have titled it The Wisdom of Yoga Vashishta. Just to give you some simple introduction. The author is Sage Valmiki, who first wrote the great work of the Ramayana, story of Rama, which has profound implication in the Hindu culture and tradition, a profound impact on all over the world. The name Rama, Manorama, Panorama. The Muhammadan sacred occasion, Ramajan, and very Christian center, Rome. Rome mein Ram bhara hua. In all languages, Ram, that source of all mantras, has its place. I will not go in that direction. That sage Valmiki, having done that first work, Ramayana, the Leela of Lord Rama, then he composed a vast work called Valmiki Ramayana. It has many names. General name is Yoga Vashishta. Yoga teachings given by Sage Vashishta. Vashishta term means the best, the greatest, the climax of wisdom. Yoga Vashishta is known as Maharamayana, great Ramayana, known as Uttar Ramayana. Uttar refers to concluding stage of Ramayana. Jnana Vashishta, and many other names. It contains approximately 32,000 verses. If you hear only one verse a day, you need to live for 32,000. Yoga Vashishta is divided into 6 chapters. Each chapter is in a volume with Sanskrit original and with Hindi text. Each one is a big volume. You need some strength to carry them. First one is just, I'm giving you a summary, just a little glimpse. First one is called Vairagya Prakarana, deals with this passion. Why should you ignore the world that gives you so many things? Go on coming again and again and again. Forget about liberation. The Vairagya Prakarana gives you a deep insight into the manner in which you should understand what the world is and what it can do to you, and etc. Many things. But one way or the other, the main purpose behind it is the coming back into repeated cycle of birth and death. That's a failure in the mission of the soul if it has to come back again and again. Therefore, Vairagya has to develop. Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajaswamam. Statement from the Gita. Also understand Yoga Bhashita contains essence of the Vedas, Puranas, and all the Upanishads. So therefore I chose this, because instead of choosing them different texts, here is all the essence. Next one is called Mumukshu Vyavahar Prakarana. The characteristics of one who has developed aspiration for God realization. Third section of third volume is Utpatti Prakarana. Describes the origin of the world process, seen in the light of Vedantic mysticism. Fourth is Sthiti Prakarana. What sustains this entire world? That is Sthiti, the sustaining reality, the self. Fifth one is called Upasham Prakarana. Upasham, quiescence of the mind. Mind begins to melt away. Mangalam, Mangalam. The whole process is a process of experiencing auspiciousness, goodness. Sixth one is called Nirvana Prakarana. The climax of all the wisdom is presented in the last. But the whole teaching is given in the form of spiral, interlocking spirals. In other words, you go into the highest knowledge, and then again the whole process is described. That's how the old Indian temples are. You have to go through the whole spiral. Then you have seen all the sites in all four directions relating to the temple. But wait, come to another spiral. Without your knowing, you have stepped into another spiral. Without your knowing, you get into third spiral. And then finally come to the shrine. Also a little bit about Valmiki, sage Valmiki. The word Valmiki means anthill. Biggest of scriptures come from little creatures. The whole Mandukya Upanishad comes from Mundaka, frog. The Taittiriya Upanishad comes from Titari birds, little birds. And Valmiki emerges out of those termites. That's all these are allegorical. In other words, he entered into the profound movement, ascending the steps of wisdom. In that process, you begin to understand the world you are trapped in. That world is full of worms. And if you picture yourself in that state of worms, you are like a person eaten by termites. But as you advance, you emerge out of it. Valmiki said, emerges out of anthill. That's the description of every enlightened soul. I will not go into that detail too much. Entering into Vairagya Prakarana, that's the first volume, section 1. starts with the special dohas, shlokas. They are invocatory type. Yatah sarvani bhutani pratibhanti sthitani cha yatraivopashamam yanti tasmai satyatmane namah. That's the first verse. Adorations to the self in the form of the absolute truth. First, adoration is directed towards truth, satyam. Satyameva jayate. Truth alone triumphs. That's the very first opening of the yoga verse. Adorations to the self in the form of the absolute truth. By the light of the self, all beings shine, in whom all beings exist, unto whom all beings go to find supreme rest for easy understanding. Imagine the sun as the sun, and all illuminations that come from the sun, they are in the realm of Maya. And in that realm of Maya, all souls that are evolving, they are confined to that world of Maya. In other words, all human beings enjoy radiations of the sunlight from morning till evening. From place to place, sunrise is different, sunset is different, clouds are different. Millions of suns, inspiring pictures explode day by day. But behind them all is one truth, the sun. Sat Ekam. Truth alone exists. The next verse. Jnata jnanam tatha jneyam drashta darshana drishyabhu karta hetu kriya yasmat tasmai yapti atmane namah. Adorations to the self in the form of consciousness. The first one was directed on Sat. The next one directed on Chit, pure consciousness, who is the source of these three triads. Jnata, Jnanam, Jnaya. Jnata, knower. Who is the knower within you? The Upanishad gives you a teaching in sequence. First, your attention is directed towards your senses. How do you know the world? It's because you see, because you hear, because you touch. The description is given the term of what is the light of lights? What's the light that allows you to see the world? The senses. What's the light behind the senses? Mind. What's the light of the light? The senses will not perceive. The mind is not operating. But what's the light that allows the mind to function? Intellect, buddhi. What's the light behind buddhi? Cosmic mind. The reality behind cosmic mind is absolute consciousness. Absolute consciousness is called light of lights. Therefore, in all the aratis, Anu point is brought out in the arati prayers. Now, three tribes to be understood. Knower, known and knowledge. Think of your dream. In your dream, you are the subject of your dream as a knower. But that knower of the dream is not real. But who cares? Not real, but you are going to get through the troubles of the dream until you wake up. Knower, the dream subject. Known, the dream world. Knowledge, all the experiences that you gain of pleasure and pain. It's also termed as seer, seen, and sight. Seer, you are seeing the world, you are experiencing it. Seen, all that you see before you. Sight, more intimate experiences of pleasure and pain. Another triad, karta, kriya, karma. Karta, the doer. Kriya is action. Karma, impressions of action that become the basis of being involved in karmic movement. Just to give you a precise way to understand. Knower, known, and knowledge. Seer, seen, and sight. Doer, cause of action and action. Behind them all is pure consciousness. Just like all activities of solar illumination, behind all that happens on the earth, sun is just alone. Sun is the cause. That cause again, allegorical. Similarly, all you experience, behind them all, pure consciousness is the reality. In modern times, you can understand with scientific progress. Many things are easier to understand. And that is your cell phone, you're a guru. You come into the touch with the whole world with a cell phone. But all that cell phone does not disturb the energy that goes through the cell phone. That energy is consciousness. The consciousness becomes interpreted in so many ways, countless ways. For every person, so your cell phone is bringing lots of things that you want according to your reality, according to your karma. But the energy itself does nothing about it. It's simply flowing through all. So at energy levels, all multiplicities of phones and all their informations, they are just Maya. The energy level is the reality. Similarly, all your awareness comes in 3 stages. Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Swarloka. Lokas, people have always understood in a very totally different way. They think earth. Bhuvar, they turn their eyes up in between the sky and the earth. Swar, the mind goes further. Milky Ways and what's up there. But that which is very simple point eludes your grasp. Simple point is Bhur, experiences that you have on the basis of your mind and senses, what's called practical reality. That's Bhurloka. Now, your reality changes when you turn your attention to your feelings. That's Bhuvarloka. And your understanding becomes totally different, transcends these two when you come to Bhur, Swarloka. Swarloka is plane of understanding, known as Mati. Sabko sanmati de Bhagwan. That's the highest within every individual. How you understand. Again, understanding has two levels. Understanding that allows you to grow, to progress. An understanding that that's intuitional revelation of the self. Climax of a process of mati. Third verse. Puranti sikara yasmat anandasya ambare vanau. Sarvesham jivanam tasmai brahmanandatmane namaha. It relates to the self in the form of the bliss of Brahman, from the vast ocean of which all delights of the world proceed as gentle dewdrops that sustain the lives of gods, humans, and all beings. Highly poetic description. This is the description of Brahman as Ananda, bliss. Satchit Ananda. 3 points are brought out in the 3 verses. All delights. And where do you see delight? Wherever there is living being. All living beings. Gods, humans, all the creatures, animals, birds. Wherever you see joy, the source of that joy is Ananda, the bliss of the self. The bliss of the self, Satchidananda, is the reality. That's being converted into your life and life's expressions in 3 planes. Just like energy is converted into all that you receive through a cell phone. And that cosmic reality, the absolute consciousness, absolute Satchidananda, that becomes the source. To put it in simpler way, every soul has the inner urge expressed in 3 ways. To exist, all souls want to exist, including roaches, frogs, birds, all want to exist. You cannot convince them your existence is miserable. Because the absolute reality is absolute existence. Intrinsic urge to exist is common in all. But due to ignorance, the mind interprets that in terms of the body. How long can the body exist? But the body is not you, it's your cell phone. And only not cell phone either, it's a part. Similarly, another urge in every individual to know. Everyone wants to know more and more and more. Beginning with the cat, wants to know where the rat hiding. I'm just joking, but the idea is all over the world, all human beings, every day they are exploring something they don't know they want to explore it. Because deep down, the intrinsic reality in you is all-knowing self. But when it's all-knowing, the self alone is, there's nothing more to know. Sun alone is. Sun does not have to know how many reflections are there and what situations they are living in. Sun alone is reality behind all reflections. So when your I am awareness that relates to these three lokas, physical reality, reality based on your feelings and sentiments, reality based upon your understanding, all these are radiations from pure consciousness. Illusory radiations, they are not real. Just like so many things happen in your dream, and nothing of that is real. And yet, when you are dreaming, you go through the trouble, intense troubles. So, having invoked Brahman, given insight into the nature of Brahman, Brahman is Satchidananda. It's called Swarupa Lakshana, the essential nature of Brahman. Existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. And next type of Lakshana is called Tatastha Lakshana. Characteristics of Brahman that you are trying to understand through your limited mind. To put in a simple way, if you are at the bank of a river and whatever you are seeing in the river is called Tatas. You are on the Tat bank, you are sitting there and you're watching and describing the river. So Rupa Lakshana, you are in the river. You don't have to describe what's happening. So Brahman is described as Swarupa Lakshana Satchidananda. Tatastha Lakshana, he is the underlying reality. All things are sustained by Sat. You go on describing things, but everything you describe, let me give you a little simile. Suppose in front of your house there is a big banyan tree. When guests come, you say, look, this is the banyan tree. Big hurricane comes and banyan tree breaks into little branches and trunks. A carpenter picks them up, turns them into furniture. At one stage you say, tree is. Another stage you say, branches and broken limbs of the tree, that is. Another stage, tables, chairs. And then, with the passage of time, termites take over. Still, the is doesn't go away. But the variables continue to change. So behind all things of this world, there is invariable is. That's Brahman. And that invariable is present in everything that you perceive as is. Behind your pain, behind your sorrow, behind your joy, behind your gain, behind your loss, there is that absolute is. That's called Sat. And you have that potentiality to realize that Sat through intuitional knowledge, not intellectual. But all your senses, mind, intellect are instruments that can be used in such a way that you promote intuitional knowledge in yourself. Or you may use them for bhoga, enjoyments of the world, or moksha. All the details will be brought into Yoga Vasishtha. Now, let me give you a little storyline. Once upon a time, there was a Brahmin Sutikshana, whose mind became overcome with doubts. Now, doubting mind is not considered good. But here, as a spiritual aspirant, if you do not recognize, if you do not develop that questioning aspect of your mind, is this real? Or I'm being deluded? That type of, what is the goal of life? And they were here through the Google, so many goals are there. That doubt needs to be cleared by professional. That means I'm talking to the Guru. But let me further detail upon the doubt. Sanshaya bhavana, asambhavana, viparita bhavana. There are three stages of doubt. Sanshaya, your mind is swinging between two choices, two boats, and you have to get into the boat in order to cross the river. It's an old time simile. But you consider yourself very sly and foxy. In other words, very wise. So when you sit upon one boat, you are studying the other boat. And suddenly you realize the other boat is better. So actually you are not sitting, you are trying to decide. So one foot goes on the other side, one goes to the other. Then we accomplish nothing. The doubting state. And apply this doubting state to your spiritual involvement. Is Shiva good or Ishtadevata or Rama is good? Are Shivites right or Ramites right? I'm joking, but not joking at the same time. That type of so many doubts. Is there really liberation? Or is all creations of sages, palavras? So that doubting aspect, if you are backed up by good karmas and you are a cultured personality in a special way, then you go to a person who can clear your doubt in a profound way. You go to a person who has authority in that particular subject. So your doubting process is resolved by approaching Guru. And that point is brought out, even how Arjuna relates himself to Krishna. And even though Krishna has given him a lot of teachings, he still says, I have a little doubt. And his doubts have been blessed. If he has not doubted, so many people wouldn't have gotten the Gita. So understand the ordinary type of doubt and a spiritual process, doubt entering into your spiritual movement, that becomes a basis for you to explore and reach out to right type of guidance. Now, next point, asambhavana. Asambhavana, having heard about scriptures, having heard about law of karma, having heard of the fact that you have been through many millions of incarnations. Now, having heard your goal is liberation, suddenly come to a conclusion, this is impossible for me in this life. It's called asambhavana. So according to your calculations, nothing is perfect here. Because you are not bringing to your mind the power of grace, the power of being related to God. That's not coming within your mind. So there is a sense of impossibility. Third state of doubt is another mode of doubt called viparita bhavana. Viparita bhavana, your mind has become blinded to reality. A very simple illustration is when you see your face in a mirror and someone asks, what are you seeing? Say, I'm seeing my face. Think again, you are lying. You are seeing the mirror. But the mind doesn't grasp it. Put it in a profound way. What you are aware of, awareness. Next, things that you experience through your mind and senses are reflecting in that awareness. So the first stage of awareness is pure consciousness. In that pure consciousness, the entire world reflects. All your experiences are vrittis, and vritti-based experiences are reflections. The reality eludes your grasp, and vritti-based experiences shine up. They become your reality. A simpler illustration, you watch a cinema show. The reality is the screen. Screen eludes your grasp. You go on chewing popcorn and watch the show. And the show takes over. You are shaking, you are weeping, you are fighting, you are becoming angry with stars. You don't think they are stars, they are realities. So these three bhavanas, sanshaya bhavana is removed by listening, shravana. The more you listen to spiritual teachings, satsanga based, manana, as you begin to assimilate the teaching in your life, live a life of integral yoga and try to assimilate. If you are not putting your life into practice, if theory stays stuck in your mind without putting it in practice, an ounce of practice is better than tons of theory. So when you begin to assimilate it, that's called manana. And manana results in moving away from illusions. This is dhyasana. Mind flows on. You begin to realize all this is vritti-based reality. Where is the screen? How to? Then you understand the teaching that even all the vritti-based reality is nothing but the screen. All things of this world are nothing but Ya Ram Mai Sab Jag Jani. All is God. When that movement starts, Nididhyasan has started. And it completes itself in Sakshatkar, direct revelation. Rajiva terms it as Bhava Pratyaya. All your experiences, even samadhis, are in the realm of cinemacho, vrittis. But the highest samadhi, now cinema has ended. Projections are withdrawn. Called pratyaya bhav. Pratyaya is projections. Presence of projections, absence of projections. Turning from presence to the absence. That's Nididhyasan movement. And when you succeed in it, it's sakshatkar. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. That's the ultimate goal. So, understand the role of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasan, and Sakshatkar. They are the remedies for your three stages of doubt. Doubt, sense of impossibility, and a perverted notion. So let me get into a little story. Once upon a time, there was a Brahmin, Sutikshana, whose mind became overcome with doubts. This is what doubt led me to all that. Having approached the ashram of sage Agastya, Agastya is Upanishadic sage, who sipped up the ocean in 3 sips. People take it literally. This is the ocean of illusion. 3 sips are waking, dream, deep sleep. Physical, subtle, causal. And if you attain, develop a enlightened vision, then as if you have sipped up this whole world, transcended all the 3. So Sutikshana, the disciple, well qualified for understanding spirituality, goes to sage Agastya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.